Primrose. I'll show you the sorrel in a moment. Guys, do you want to come and do the walkie-talkie bit, and you can do that bit later, or Siobhan will do it for you. Don't fall in the pond. Piff almost did, yeah. Again. Okay, so this is a lovage. You can see these stems don't look like they're cuttings, do they? And they're basically just leaf stems. But you can see here there's another shoot coming out there. Anything there where you get multiple shoots, you immediately think divide the roots, yeah? A little bit the same with the St. John's wort. I don't know if St. John's wort is a root division or that it seeds itself around the base, and you're basically dividing up that way. This is a valerian. Again, you can see that's one where it looks like you need to do it at a root level here. Same with the peony there. With the chives, you actually just divide it up, you know, take off some of the bulbs. But the cotton lavender there, softwood cuttings, definitely. You can, you know, it's got that kind of strength in the stems that you see that you take a big enough piece and it'll do the roots. This one, which is vervain, you get a sense of it being a bit more like the meadowsweet that you're kind of dividing up at a rhizome level, yeah? Those kind of stems that run into the ground. The fennel, oops. Sorry guys. The fennel here, again, those multiple stems, you get a sense that if you take one of these with enough root on it, it'll do the gig, yeah? Will we have a look over here? Again, with the Melissa, you know, I mentioned this earlier, you get a sense of, you sort of divide it down at this level, you know, maybe with a knife just cut off a healthy section. These are the horseradish that literally I was just digging out the little bones of it. We won't talk about the muskmallow. Oregano actually does better from seed, that oregano does, but there's another oregano that you can just literally divide it up, it spreads out, and it's kind of like a stem cutting, but they have roots to them as well. Sage would be softwood cuttings. What else have we got? Fuchsia, literally, if you just take a bit of that and stick it into the ground, it'll grow. I haven't tried the myrtle, but I think you could try that from a hardwood cutting where you break off a little bit, dip it in some willow water or water it in with willow water and just keep the soil really moist. And quite often some of those little shrubby things, definitely with the black currant, you just take a, you know, after it's fruited, you can just take a bit like that and just stick them into soil, and over sort of the course of a season they'll produce their roots. Strawberries, obviously they produce the little baby runner plants. Lavender, very similar to what we did with the rosemary. Muskmallow, the muskmallow and the marshmallow, I think in theory you do that down at a root level. And then the primrose is often growing clusters. I think again it's like you're dividing up siblings more than anything. Excuse me. This is the mugwort. And this one's quite interesting because it does kind of seed around itself, but it's also a little bit like, sometimes they seem to be just little clumps of a bit like the meadowsweet as well. I haven't tried it with this mugwort, but the Japanese mugwort I've actually done from cuttings. This one seeds itself so well I've never bothered to try and do that, but my Japanese mugwort, which I don't have any left now because they all got killed in the bad winters, one year I just went like, hang on, what gave me the clue? It had quite woody bits, and I think it had actually done that bit of like tipping down onto the soil and rooting itself a bit, which is always an indication that it's going to do cuttings fine. The acanthus would be, you can divide that up from the growing crown. Sage, after flowering, you can do softwood cuttings of. This is the skullcap, and that you can see the way it's spreading out. It's like the mint, you know, so you just do the root cuttings. Hyssop you can do stem cuttings of. Some people do cuttings of the thyme, but I find it much more successful from seed. Whereas actually I find rosemary and lavender are better from cuttings. What else? The tansy you can do both from seed, or you can see that you could divide it up like we did to the meadowsweet. This one would be soft cuttings, you know, you just take a sprig, and that does really well from cuttings. The Joe Pye weed there, again, you can see it's sending out it's spreading out. You divide that at a root level, yeah? The savoury you can do cuttings of. That's the perennial savoury. Some of the roses you can do from cuttings. They can be a little bit slow. But some of them you can. Raspberries, you can see the way they grow them, but you can literally just divide up the canes, take a sprig with some roots to it, and it will do another plant. Do you remember I was saying about self-pruning, the way trees sometimes do? Can you see how this one has become? So, I mean, all that needs is just to go in and take out the dead wood kind of thing, you know? It just decided it had more than it could support. It's cold. These are sorrel plants here, these ones. There's a very healthy sorrel just behind Jim there. There's a couple of clumps here. The yarrow, again, it does little runners under the soil. There's plenty of yarrow here, so you just can take a section with enough root and enough shoot to it, and it's like little runners under the soil.
That's the yarrow there.
That's the yarrow just there.
It's feverfew, is it?
Feverfew will self-seed itself. You don't even have to help the feverfew, it does it. You know. Dandelions you can actually do from root slips if you're short of them.
That's the furry floor is the yarrow, is it?
What? The furry one is the yarrow.
Oh yeah, the furry is the yarrow.
Oh yeah, I can barely see it.
The Chinese skullcap, you can do kind of like dividing up the plants, but it actually seeds itself really well. And then these are the marshmallows. And again, you can see you do that by root division. Yeah, the way it's spreading out like that. That one you just break off a healthy clump, the St. Patrick's cabbage.
Can you eat St. Patrick's cabbage?
I haven't got that far with its story. It's definitely been used therapeutically. I thought with a name like that, it probably can be.
St. Patrick's cabbage.
Only do it Catholic.
So you all, yeah, exactly. And Irish, both parents.
Absolutely. And they're still together.
Well, they would be. They would be. I mean, if you want to propagate nettles, you can again divide up the root stock, you know. Some of us do propagate nettles. So you're getting a sense of how the plant, you know, when you really start looking, the plant kind of tells you. You know, so if you just slow down enough and listen to us, of course we tell you. No, they're much more polite than that. So any questions, or will we go inside for questions?